So, yeah, just a couple of things. It was a frustrating and very disappointing loss for our football team. That we had a solid week of preparation, getting ready for this ball game, and then it certainly didn't show up in all areas. One thing about league play, Big Ten, it's going to be tough every week, and this is certainly witness of that. And it's really tough to compete if you're hurting yourself with penalties, turnovers, and that really became a very big factor in this game today. So, needless to say, we got work to do in all areas. And we'll go back to film tomorrow, take a look at this game, see what we can learn from it, and then go back to work on Monday and see what we can do about moving forward. We're all frustrated certainly with the game today. Tip our hat to Michigan State; they did a good job. And as I said all along, we've got a good group of players, so we'll learn from this and we'll grow. And that's after today, the only importance is next Saturday's game. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Last thing I just say, I just found out this afternoon when I got over here about Coach Tiller's passing, and needless to say, that's something that really saddens I think many people, certainly me. I think Joe's in my mind, one of the best coaches I've ever seen or had a chance to coach against. You think about the job that he did at Purdue for so long. What he did with that program is just absolutely amazing. And beyond that, a first-class human being. I mean, as good as they get. So just I think all of us are very saddened by that. And Joe's been ill, I know that. And had a chance to talk to him about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And it's just it's really a tough loss for everybody.
Kirk, what's kind of going on with the running game here? I mean, right now you're at 21 yards on 25 carries. For your team to win, you can't have those kind of numbers. What's stopping you from getting any kind of momentum there?
That's something we have to try to figure out and get corrected. Both teams really, neither team ran the ball real successfully today. That's how the quarterback, he did a good job. But I'm more focused on our team certainly, and that's something we have to work on.
The 2 turnovers you guys had back to back, Nathan's one where the ball just falls out of his hand, and then Brandon had a fumble. Just symptoms of young players and just something you got to live through because it's a young offense, young players making those types of mistakes.
Yeah, that was really one of Brandon's only touches this year. I don't know how many he's had total, but trying to do a little bit too much probably on that play instead of just taking what was there. I'm not saying it's the same as Amir, but similar kind of circumstance. He's going to have to grow through that and hopefully be better the next time at it. And Nate's done a lot of good things, but that's certainly, it's kind of it looked like a freak play from where I was standing and watching the replay. A tough opportunity there, but we just got to play through those things.
How much does field position in both your last 2 games? How much does that color what you can do in offense?
Yeah, it did make things any easier today, but part of the challenge there is it's going to happen during the course of the season. It was 3 times in the first half today, and what we're going to have to do is move the ball out there, not necessarily sustain a drive for a score, but move the ball out so we can change field position. And they did a better job of that today, especially in the first half. I thought that was the story of the first half. They put us in a bad position by driving it and then putting it down there where we had our work cut out, and then we couldn't flip it back the other way.
Specifically on the running game over here, you said you didn't have to look at the tape to see what's going on. But coming in, you're averaging 3.8 a carry. So there's got to be some problems you're seeing there. What are you seeing why you aren't able to run the ball?
Well, it's a different circumstance every game and every team. Penn State did a good job last week stopping the run. They're very aggressive, and this outfit's been good against the run. I mean, they're built on stopping the runs. They've done a good job of that historically here. And today is one more of those cases, whether they're playing straight defense or blitzing. They cause some problems for us, and we're going to have to find some answers.
Did it feel like you guys got off to Did it feel like you guys got off to a sluggish start? And if so, how do you correct that? I know Josie talked about playing all 4 quarters.
Well, yeah, and every game's different scenarios. Certainly, they had us on our heels. They drove the ball, sustained drives. Then create a good field position for themselves when they weren't scoring, and but all that being said, I don't think it was a great first half for us by any stretch. Coming out at halftime, we knew we had a chance to. We were going to have the ball first. Had a chance to go down and score, and we're in a 10-point game at that point. So, there was no reason why we couldn't win the game in the second half. But those 2 turnovers certainly didn't help us, and to their credit, they forced those things. So, credit goes to them on that.
Coach, you talked about this being a young team. the last 2 weeks you've had opportunities. How do you teach these kids about being able to take advantage of those and not let it, not turn it against you or basically shooting yourself in the foot?
You just keep, you learn from your experiences. We got to keep working hard on the things that are hurting us right now. Ball security. We've probably worked harder on ball security this year than we ever have. Maybe we're overdoing it, but that's just part of the deal. You just keep going back to work, and not unlike what this team did. They had a tough loss last week and came back and cleaned some things up. They did a much better job of ball security. That's been an issue for them this year. So, there's no magic answers. We've got a 6-week block here that we were focused on. The biggest thing we need to do right now is close this one out. And obviously our goal is to win the football game next Saturday, but the biggest thing is we got to continue to improve every day.
What kind of challenges did Felton Davis down here, Kirk?
Okay. I'm all okay.
That's fine. What kind of challenges did Felton Davis prove for your defense, especially early on in that?
Yeah, he proved to be a tough matchup for us, and his numbers coming into the game weren't off the charts, but he certainly proved to be a good matchup. He ran good routes today. Quarterback did a nice job of finding him, getting the ball to him, and that was a factor in the game.
And then, Manny, what happened to him during the week? Where does he sit for next week? And how did his not playing impact the secondary?
Well, like a lot of players, players get injured all the time. So he was injured in the game last week. Interestingly enough, we didn't know it leaving the stadium. But anyway, he got better during the week. Kept climbing the ladder, but couldn't go today. So no sense putting a guy out there that can't go 100%. Hopefully he'll be back next week.
Kirk, characteristic of your team.
That microphone is like throwing me off.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
Okay.
We're not that far away. But anyway, okay.
Characteristic of your teams are run the football. You don't have a lot of penalties, and you don't turn the ball over. That seems to be a kind of an issue right now. I mean, where are you kind of mentally, and what do you think your team can do right now?
So I'll take it from there. If we turn it over, don't run the ball, and have penalties, it's not going to be good. And that's certainly was the case today. It was a big factor. All three of those things were a big factor in today's game.
Is there anything you can do to? I know you guys are blitzing probably a little more than you usually do. Is there any more you can do to get pressure?
Oh, yeah. What do you? I don't know how to answer that question. What do you mean?
Do you feel like you get enough out of the blitz?
I think every game's different. Every situation's different. Every game's different, and we call them according to what we feel is the best way to get there. So I don't think that was the story of today's game, but it'd be nice to get more pressure. No question about that.
Can you draw on any previous team as kind of like I know you don't want to compare teams, but any of your previous teams that you can use as almost a rallying cry for the guys in the locker room right now?
Yeah, well, I don't know if we need a rallying cry right now. We just got to go back to work tomorrow. That's really what I see it. And I could go back to 08, and I hate to start making those comparisons because you never know how the seasons are going to turn out. But we came out here 3-3, lost a tough game, and that season just turned out fine. But it was a little bit like that where we had some young players that had to gain traction, and those 3 losses were all close losses. We've had 2 close losses back to back. I don't think anybody's ready to hit the panic button, but we need to hit the improve button. That's what we need to do right now. And just focus on what we can do over the next 6 days to get better as a team, and try to win our next ball game, and we'll push forward from there. But it's still really early in the season. You hate to lose any game, you hate to lose any opportunity because you don't get them back. But the whole idea is to just learn and move forward.
Does it feel that it's kind of been a grind? In the non-conference. Yeah. Okay. I'm here.
I'm totally
I know where I'm at. And there hasn't been a breather. Even the game that people thought would be a breather for you wasn't a breather. Is it taking a mental toll at all?
I don't think so. We have 12 games scheduled, and we didn't see any breathers on our schedule coming in. Sometimes they happen. After the game, you say, "Well, it wasn't as hard as you thought it would be," but we go in anticipating every game to be a challenge. And that's just the nature of it. I heard Dabo Sweeney on the radio this week just talking. I can't tell you who they played last week, but apparently, he was hearing some of that. And I don't think people understand how tough it is to win football games at any level, no matter who you're playing. So I think we've had a healthy respect for what it takes. And the one thing we knew is we had 6 tough challenges on our plate, and then we had a chance to regroup, and then we'll take 6 more on. So that's kind of been our mindset on this whole thing. And we got 1 to go, but it's certainly disappointing to come out here with a loss.
Kirk,
more question.
Kirk, as far as your running attack, how much of it would you attribute to teams loading the box against you? Is that just too simple to say that's what's happening?
It is, because, I mean, traditionally they've done that. And I'll go back to 04 when we couldn't run it. And everybody knew we couldn't run it, and they still came to take the run away. I'm still trying to figure that one out. So that's just part of the deal. You know, what you have to find, we have to find balance. And that's the best way to get balance is, you know, we're going to have to do a little better job coming up with some things that we can do and where we can create that. But that's, you know, we'll work on that this week. Certainly that'll be at the top of the list, that and ball security, and see if we can't come up with a better answer next Saturday.
Last question. A big story in the first half was ineffectiveness in your punting game. Do you feel like you need to make a change there?
Well, you know, that was part of the field position. You know, we didn't move the ball, and we didn't pump the ball as well as we need to. So I think I've said this before. You know, anytime you get a young punter, you're going to have to ride the roller coaster a little bit. So, you know, we'll assess that this week, like we'll assess a lot of things, and just keep an open mind. And I've got an open mind in every position. You have to. We're only 5 games into this right now. One thing about it, we know a lot more about our team right now than we did 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, even a week ago. So, you know, part of our job is to make sure we're making good decisions, really assess things in a fair way, and, you know, we'll make decisions accordingly.
Right,
Okay, thank you.